So we are asking to create a Docker file for this project, then push this code by creating a repository with the name Python LangChain 321. Inside this repository, we want it to push on a V1 branch and then create a pull request.
In this video, we talk about GitHub MCP Server. I will explain you what is GitHub MCP Server, how it works, and how you can start using it in your computer. Let's go. So GitHub is a very popular platform to store and share software code. And traditionally, we do this by creating a GitHub repository in the UI, then writing the code in a local machine and pushing it to the repository using git commands like git add, git commit, git push. Later on, if I want to create a pull request, I come again on the GitHub UI and then create a pull request. So using the GitHub UI or running commands is all good, but you're still doing it manually. So GitHub has now launched its official MCP or Model Context Protocol server. With GitHub MCP, you can now create repositories, push code changes, create and review pull requests, create issues, inspect CICD failures, and all of that by simply giving prompts to an AI agent or any LLM that supports MCP. Alright, so this is the repository for GitHub's official MCP server. The GitHub MCP server connects AI tools directly to GitHub's platform. This gives AI agents, assistants, and chatbots the ability to read repositories and code files, manage issues and PRs, analyze code, and automate workflows all through natural language interactions. So let me explain you how this works. So we have GitHub, and then we have different MCP clients like VS Code, different AI agents, Claude, Windsurf, anything that supports MCP. This MCP client is connected to GitHub, which is an MCP server here, through MCP protocol. To understand any MCP server architecture, you need to know there are three things: tools, resources, and prompts. So using an AI agent or an MCP client, when you make a prompt saying create me a repository, it passes through the MCP protocol to the MCP server. Now it will access the different resources or get the context through this prompt and use different tools, which are read repositories, manage issues, analyze code, automate workflows, all of that. I'm going to show you the different list of tools that you get through this GitHub MCP server, but the use cases are repository management, issues and PR automation, CICD workflow intelligence, code analysis, team collaboration, and a lot more. There are so many things that you can do with GitHub MCP. I will show you an example very soon after we connect this GitHub MCP server. We can use GitHub MCP server with all different options here, like different IDEs, including JetBrains, Visual Studio Code, Eclipse, and Xcode with GitHub Copilot. You can also use GitHub MCP server with all cloud applications like Cloud Web Desktop, Cloud CLI. You can use on Cursor or Windsurf. GitHub MCP server supports two authentication methods using OAuth or then using personal access token. So to start using GitHub MCP server, copy any of these configuration and put it in the mcp.json file as explained in different guides here. So you see you need to create an mcp.json file in your project folder. Or if you're using VS Code or Visual Studio Code Insider, you can simply click on this icon here. Click on this, it asks me to open Visual Studio Code. You can see, so if I click on this install in workspace, you can see a file has been created with the name mcp.json, and now GitHub is asking me to authenticate. So I'm going to click on allow, and then this is my account. Once the GitHub MCP server is running, you can check the tools from here, or you can also check it here inside the tools section. You can see GitHub. So in GitHub, I have all these tools which are add comment to pending review, add issue comment, assign copilot issue, create branch, create or update file. All these operations I can do now by simply giving prompts to my AI agent in VS Code here. To show you an example, I'm going to ask to list all the repositories in my GitHub profile and sort them based on number of GitHub stars. So let's ask and see how GitHub MCP server will work with this natural language prompt. So you can see it ran a tool named as search repository. Isn't this amazing? GitHub MCP server used this tool, which is search repositories, and got all the list of repositories and sorted them based on the number of stars. Let's try something difficult now. This is the project I'm trying to work on, which is the Python LangChain project. I'm going to ask to create a Docker file, then create a GitHub repository, push all of this code with the Docker file on the repository in a separate branch, and also create a pull request. So let's try how this works. Okay, so we are asking to create a Docker file for this project, then push this code by creating a repository with the name Python LangChain 321. Now inside this repository, we want it to push on a V1 branch and then create a pull request. This might not be the optimal prompt to give to an AI agent, but I think this will work, and let's try. Okay, so it has created a Docker file for us, and now it's asking us to run this create repository tool. I'm going to allow this. You can go ahead and select always allow if you don't want to click on this again and again. So I'm going to allow this. Let's click on allow again. So it will create a branch inside this repository. If you want to confirm, let's go to repo and check that. So you see Python LangChain 321 repository has been created. Yes, go ahead and create a branch with the name v1. So it has now created a branch with the name v1. Now it's going to push the files, all these files from my local machine to that repo in the branch v1. So it is pushing all the files and it's done. Let's confirm that. So you can see pushes have been made. Okay, finally it has completed the task. It created a repository, then created a branch in it, pushed all the code and also created a pull request and gave us this pull request link here. So I can review this pull request and also send it to other reviewers. So you can see all the commits made by my VS Code agent, and I can send this link to my reviewers. They can review it and merge this pull request. So this is so amazing. Now you can do anything you want by simply giving prompts to an AI agent. Additionally, if you want to set up CICD using GitHub Actions, or you want to contribute to open source, or you want to fork any repository, check any issues, you can also do that because GitHub MCP supports all these different tools. For example, let's say you want to check all the issues that you can contribute to on Kubernetes. Like you can say, like, list all the issues in Kubernetes repository that are labeled as good first issues. Now this MCP server will search for the repository for Kubernetes and then check through the issues and check the issues that are labeled as good first issues, which you can contribute to. So the GitHub MCP server has so many different use cases. You can use it for searching repositories, for creating repositories, doing different options, setting up CICD, checking logs. You can see now it also fetched the good first issues from the Kubernetes official repository. This is the link for it. You can go and click on it and then also look them in depth. So you can see this is a good first issue and it was posted 2 weeks ago. Crazy. Alright, so this was our video on GitHub MCP server. I would highly recommend you to go try it out yourself. It feels like magic. And if you want me to create more videos on other MCP servers like AWS MCP server or Terraform MCP server or GitHub MCP server, let me know in the comment section. Comment below MCP and I can create more videos like this. Plus, if you have any questions, any doubt while setting up GitHub MCP server, you can let me know in the comment section. Thank you and have a good day.